Good morning, everybody. It's June 12th, 2024. Nice sunny day here in Halifax, Nova Scotia. This is episode 95 of the IGEL podcast. Specifically, this is the IGEL Community Podcast. Joined as always with my partner in crime, Seb. Seb, say hi.
Hi.
And
is it enough?
Yeah, it's fantastic. And you know what's interesting twist to this one, we actually have another member of the IGEL community on this podcast, which I think is one of the first times we've had a guest host, Mr. Rene Recker, joining us all the way from London. Rene, say hello.
Hello from the United Kingdom. Really excited to be here.
So for those who don't know you, Rene, they obviously know Seb and I. Why don't you tell us a bit about you, who you are, what you do, and why we thought we'd invite you to the podcast? What made you special enough to get an invite? How about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm with IGEL since 10.5 years, I would say now. Run through all different roles in tech. Run the pre-sales team in EMEA, run the advanced services team in EMEA, being part of CX, and now since more than a year, maybe 1.5 years, I'm in the community as an evangelist, working with Seb to drive visibility, having crazy ideas, recording crazy hip-hop songs to advertise events and all this stuff, yeah.
So I guess the question, what is an IGEL community evangelist as a job? Like, so you don't have to go hour by hour, but what do you do between 9 and 5?
Yeah, this is a really good idea, and I needed to figure it out by myself. But it's normally the first thing I do is check in the updates, what's going on in the community. Can I add some help there, or can I post something I learned during the last day, or information I received by the last night? Then LinkedIn is one of my major outputs. I would say I'm posting a lot of advertisements, like I said, events, or when I'm on an event like today, I try to create content and put it out, what I think could be interesting for community. I try to push our YouTube channel with formats. So I would say content creation, marketing a little bit. Probably this is a good.
It sounds like a dream job for anybody who is, in the IGEL ecosystem to talk about, the thing that they love. You're obviously super passionate about it, passionate enough that you actually have a fantastic IGEL community jacket that I'm kind of jealous of.
Nice.
Yeah, so a lot of people talk to me that they would love to have this. So I can say maybe we do a raffle in the shop Munich, and maybe we do a raffle for the jacket, because this is really nice. And Seb asked me, hey, is it cold in the room? No, I like to represent and show everyone my cool new college jacket. So, yeah.
There you go. So you made a good point there. You mentioned Disrupt Munich. Why don't we dive into that a little bit and talk about that? So the last podcast Seb and I did, we kind of did a look back on Disrupt Miami. So, put in our crystal ball on, looking forward to Disrupt Munich. What is it? Why should people attend? How does it differ from Miami? And what are maybe give us some spoilers or some insight as to what people can expect in terms of the way of announcement. So I'm going to ask you first, Seb, before I put Rene on the spot, because Rene's looking his a bead of sweat coming down his forehead.
Sure. So the biggest thing is that it happens in Germany, right? That's the biggest difference compared to Miami. So don't expect the same temperatures, don't expect the same amount of sand and beach. Spoiler alarm, there is no beach, there is no sand in Munich. But what you can expect is what you already know from the last years. The event location, which is the Infinity Hotel in Munich, is a great location to bring everyone together. There's a great bar, a lot of restaurants, so you can really continue discussions that you had on the event and in the evening time. And basically, I would say it's the same on Miami. It's all about the people. So we will meet again with all the great folks from our community on site, talking about the news that we received during the Disrupt event in Miami, but everything which happened in between. And I mean, for the IGEL community insiders or VIPs, they're already knowing a little bit what is coming next. But we can't tease you too much about the new stuff that we will deploy in the meantime. But there are a couple of great features, a couple of great cooperations, a lot of new features that we will implement in our ecosystem that you might want to hear about. And beside that, but that's where Rene can take over surely, because he's already on the IGEL Secure event, we will have an even bigger focus on the security aspect. Right, Rene? I guess it's already the topic of London.
Yeah, I would say if you talk about IGEL nowadays, it's that the security topic comes naturally, because this is how I would say position IGEL now. Sure, we always were the operating system vendor, but now we're saying, okay, we are a central point in this also, not only UC bubble, I would say, but also we try to step into the security bubble. And I think this is a really, really exciting thing. And I'm learning so many things. Today I had a recording about it with a short video with Andres Makowski, our CISO, and his worker Juan Zapata. And I think we talk about later about this ISO 27001. What is really exciting, and where I know that we spent a lot of time, couple of years, to achieve this, to set the base for it, and show the world that IGEL has more than the old client operating system. I know this bad word with T is not likely heard by anyone, but So I'm just doing the next step into the security area, and
Okay.
For the people that didn't heard yet, this is the perfect place to see and to brief this, because when I look back to Miami, the atmosphere was magic, I would say, and I hope that we can recreate this in Munich. And so I think this is the reason you can meet so many people, you can get part of this amazing atmosphere, and hear about great updates.
Okay. So there was a huge community presence in Miami. You guys had your own. We had our own area in the facility. Is the concept going to be applied in Munich as well? Is going to be a breakout community area where people can hang out, get some popcorn, get some drinks, enjoy some music?
So we had a great area. This is true, and I think we also had great learnings in Miami, because we talked about this. Probably plan more sessions with the community members, and with all those learnings, we want to make it bigger and better in Munich, and probably also then next year in the US as well. But I talked today with Carl Gersh, and we have a place like in Miami, so we are very visible. And now it's time to go and create some breakout sessions or general sessions, because, like Seb said, this event is also, when we talk about community, from the community to the folks that come to IGEL. So not only from Slack, but also this time in real life. And this is a lot of work, I think, in the next months. But I'm really excited. And for me, my goal is to make community a very central part of IGEL Disrupt in Munich.
Fantastic. So for both of you, one final question before we move away from the Munich event. Give me a one-liner. Why should I attend Disrupt Munich? One sentence.
Because it's awesome.
Well, we know that.
Nah, kidding.
And when I say why should I mean, somebody from the community who may be on the fence about attending. Give me a one-liner that's going to push me over the edge, saying I'm going to put down, which is I think is 150 euros, which is one of the most affordable conferences out there. Why should I spend my 150 euros to attend Munich?
If you didn't thought about using your IGEL OS as an operating system, then you should attend the Munich event, because there you will learn how to use it in a proper way, and also learn which kind of new corporations will make your local operating system, one, secure, but also more versatile.
Good. Mr. Rene, one-liner, please.
I would say this is a unique space to meet a lot of vendors from the eco space. It's not an IGEL event, it's an EUC event, it's a community event, it's a tech event, it's a sales event, it's a marketing event. You get everything. This event is for everybody, and this is very, very unique and very, very special about it.
Yeah, I would echo that. While it is, on paper it is an IGEL event, it truly is an EUC event. If you look at from the Miami side, if you look at the attendees, all the heavy hitters from the EU space were there. I'm not going to name names, but it really is the place to network. from an EU perspective. And of course, we get the added benefit of learning about the upcoming new bells and whistles from IGEL OS, what they're implementing as part of 12.4 going forward. So, if anybody's on the fence, just go for $150 or 150 euros rather. But let me, I've asked Seb this in the last podcast. In Miami, there was hints of the IGEL, I think it was called the IGEL Disrupt roadshow, I think is right. And I'm hearing some dates starting to trickle out within the community. So any updates, Rene or Seb, on how that's looking and when will we be announced?
So just in case, we can't share too much right now, but we have already an IGEL community meetup planned together with our very own Karl Gersch. And guess what? It's exactly the topic that we would like to cover with him. So that's one thing. The second thing is there will be an announcement hopefully next week in our IGEL community. So please watch out on announcements, or even better, in your corresponding region. So we have specific channels for your corresponding region, and we will share there more details, more agendas, and more topics over there. So on both sides, just follow us on the IGEL community. If you're not part already, just join us on join.igelcommunity.com, and we will share hopefully soonish, beginning of next week, more details. I don't know, Rene, if you heard something more, but that's what I have at the moment.
Not yet, no. I only have the information you have.
So the big takeaway here is join.igelcommunity.com if you want to learn about where these events are coming, if they're coming to a city near you. If you can't get to Munich, you missed Miami. I was there was an IGEL Disrupt Roadshow, I want to say 2 years ago in Toronto that I attended. A fantastic event. Obviously not on the scale of the real Disrupt, but it's certainly well worth attending. And I'm pretty sure the cost was $0. So it's
it was. Yeah.
Okay.
And that's exactly the point. That's why I'm liking the road shows, I would say, equally to a central event like Miami or Munich. Because there you will get the people who are not able to join such kind of events because of traveling restrictions and so on. And I wouldn't say that what we get back from that roadshow is more valuable than on the big event. Don't get me wrong. Mm-hmm. But still, it's more personal. It's more one-on-one. It's not that big. So you have the quiet people showing up, the quiet people who take decisions based on their communities. And that's where I'm really thankful for this kind of roadshows instead of having big events or in addition to big events. So I hope that you will feel the same on the Canada event. It was Toronto, if I'm right, again, and same on the North American in general.
Perfect.
I would add that this time we also plan to be visible with the community also there. I think that was not, at least for the US part, last time the case, but this is something we're also in deeply talks at the moment. When we do a roadshow in Canada, in the US, that Seb or I also be visible and maybe use it also for community events, side events, or on the event, but we want to be also with the community very visible, or even on this roadshow.
So that's fantastic news to me, and I'll put it out there. If there's anything I can do to help while I'm boots on the ground in the Great White North, let me know. I'm happy to join in, pitch in where I can. The community is part of my daily life, so let me see what I can do to give back.
Thank you.
Before we transition away from events totally, Rene, we mentioned you're in London this morning with your with a pot of tea. What are you in London for? I hear there's an event called IGEL Secure, which is news to me. I hadn't heard of this one before. So maybe you can tell us a bit about what this event is and why you travel all the way to sunny London.
I would say it's also, you could name it Disrupt, but also I think they wanted to put the focus and the message out with the security, and so we're having all these updates we received in Miami, but we're having great breakouts for healthcare, finance, and insurance. We have a channel team here, and we're having also great speakers. We're hearing this afternoon from Greg van der Gast, who is one of the top hackers in the world. I'm really excited for that. So after this podcast, I will join a session. But we're having also all the vendors here. Island.io talking about the browser solution, for example, and it's kind of a mixture security event. IGEL Disrupt Roadshow, I would say. So it's very, very interesting. And talk to a lot of customers, partners. We're also having, as I said, our security team here talking about this ISO certification. So it's really, really interesting.
Just out of curiosity, for people who can't attend that event, are the sessions being recorded? Because I'd love to see the hacker event. I'd love to see that on YouTube or something.
So I'm seeing here all the time a camera team. I really hope that they release it afterwards, but I cannot 100% say if they will put this on YouTube afterwards. But I really hope.
Okay, that's fair. Because like I said, I think there'll be a lot of interest in the community. So maybe you can work your magic over there and talk to the right people, Rene.
I try.
But you already talked to one of our new insiders, right? Dan Goss, who joined you and got his IGEL Community hoodie, right?
Yeah, he was one of the first guys this morning.
Good,
really nice, nice guy, and really fun to talk with him. And yeah, he got one of the very exclusive hoodies we brought to the UK.
So off topic, are these new hoodies or are they the black and white ones with the tree?
No, the existing ones.
Okay.
No.
I gotta start wearing those.
Yeah, they're running out of stock, so they're quite limited now. So,
so they're almost collector's
We're working
items.
on some new stuff.
Okay.
We're working on some new stuff.
Very cool.
Even the logo, right? I mean, Rene's also already having the new IGEL Community. Yes, perfect. The new IGEL Community and IGEL logo. And that's where we are already looking at new swag and not using the existing, but also rethink the existing stuff that we had.
Right, and for people who are listening to the audio version of the podcast, Rene has a shirt now. It was a theme of IGEL Disrupt Miami. It was simply IGEL it. So if you have an issue with an endpoint, dealing with antivirus, dealing with patching, instead of going through all that headache, that hassle, the dollar figures, simply IGEL it. Put IGEL on the endpoint, and those problems go away. So kudos to the marketing people who come up with simply IGEL. Is that Carl and his team who came up with that? Because I love it.
I heard this phrase from Klaus. So I don't know if it came from marketing or it came from Klaus, but I think Klaus used it in his keynote on Disrupt. So really like it because it's really matching to our new messaging, our new energy we're providing, I would say. And yeah, I think this is something we will see more and more and more in the next months, as this could be a very central topic for IGEL.
Yeah, and it's almost like a throwaway phrase, but it's so easy and it just hits home. Simply IGEL it, right?
Yeah.
So the event you are now is primarily focused on security, Rene. You mentioned a couple of times now that IGEL has attained a new certification, specifically ISO 27001. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
For a guy who knows nothing about ISO certifications, tell me what that is and why people who are listening should care.
We always told our customers and partners when they asked, "Oh, is IGEL Secure the product?" and we said, "Yeah, we are." And on the base who you asked, probably you got different questions, different answers. Probably also always with the phrase, "Yeah, we are secure." And this ISO certification, I think, is a standardization and a proof that IGEL is secure. Now, if you want to do this, and I can tell you, this is nothing you do within 2 or 3 weeks. I know when Andreas Makowski came in 2020, so probably 4 years ago, one of his key was, okay, set up the company and everything around it to be ISO 27001 ready. So it's that everyone knows how they behave, that everyone has a wording, that the systems we're working with are standardized, that our products are proven that they are secure. So it's a really standardization, I would say, and that we're not only saying it's secure, now it's proven, it's tested, and this is also ongoing with audits to prove that you deserve the certification. Okay. So in my easy words, so I know that we're having a meetup coming up with Andreas Makowski, and he probably can tell it better. As I said, I did an interview, and also there he told and explained it in a way better than me now. But I would say overall, this is a proof that we are secure.
Okay.
And it's basically based, if I remember right, on an audit that we had, right? So different processes that we didn't had to be introduced. The existing process had to be double checked. And I mean, let's stay honest, ISO is a topic which is dry like sand. So it's not something that you will try to read during your vacation time. And I'm really glad that Andreas did this job, because it's really, like I said, it's really complicated. It's German. It feels at least German. I'm not sure if it's a German regulation, but I'm pretty sure it is. But basically, you really get audited everything that you're doing in the company, your product. We're not talking about a deep technical product certification where every bit and byte is taken out, but it's more the framework around it, how we work and how we make it secure and how we enhance and keep the level that we have. But again, it's just an additional small level of what Rene said. But if you didn't already, please watch out for the podcast and for the meetup.
Okay, so let me kind of paraphrase what both of you guys have just said. So if I'm talking to a CISO, Chief Information Security Officer at an organization, and he wants to talk about the security of IGEL OS, obviously, I can present white papers, I can talk about use cases, but now I have another tool in my tool belt. I can present the ISO 27001 certification to this CISO, and it would be fair to say that would allow him to sleep at night. Is it that kind of level of certification where it is now validated, secured, and third-party audited?
And it's partially a door opener. And especially the enterprise customers, banks, insurance, and so on, are really looking for this. And they're looking for products which are under this specific hood. So if you're not bringing that in, you will have additional discussion, additional questions from the security team. And bringing in that label, so to say, brings us in a way to other customers and customer situations, I would say.
Okay. I guess from another angle, so IGEL is now certified at the ISO 27001. Does that include ICG, OS 11, OS 12, UMS? Like, what actually is certified?
Honestly, I'm not sure if Rene can answer this. I wouldn't put my hand into the fire right now, and I'm just saying, wait for it. It's secure.
Okay.
Rene, I'm not sure if you can tell more, but I would try to keep a step behind.
No. I would say the same. So I would say let's wait for Andreas to clarify. I think we will also send out blog posts, and if anyone is interested in this topic, this is absolutely no problem that we get connection to Andreas. He can jump on a call, jump on a webinar or whatever to present topics if there are questions. He is very happy to do that. And before I tell something wrong, we should leave it to the expert, the CISO.
That's fair. And the session with Andreas is going to be posted in the IGEL community, right?
I think I will do it tomorrow because the sound was a little bit tricky. I didn't brought a microphone, and so we're having some background noises. I tried to remove them, but it will come for sure tomorrow.
Okay, and remind people how they actually get to the community.
Yeah, so go to igelcommunity.com/join and join our party there. We're having now 12,000 members. Sebastien, I don't know.
Senor.
So,
senor.
See, I just gave you a softball, right? That was on my list of things to talk about next. So maybe, Seb, you can speak about it. So we just hit 12,000 strong in the IGEL community. Whenever we talk about how big the community is, I always have to do a humble brag and say I was member number 50-something. So I've been there since practically day one. I've seen it grow, evolve, and become what it is today. So maybe Seb, talk a minute about what's the draw to the community where there's 12,000 people in there, and what keeps it coming back day over day?
That's a really good question, and I would say that we shouldn't ask Rene or myself about this, but really our listeners and the IGEL community members, because we can only assume what we are doing. Getting feedback from the community is something that we are really focusing on even more than before. So, coming back to your question, hopefully it's not only asking a question and getting an answer in seconds, but it's more being interactive with other peers from the end-user computing space. And we all know that there are other communities out there. We are working closely with the world of end-user computing. We are working closely with Dark on the controller community. we are not working against each other, right? We are working together, and we are working for the same, I would say, for the same spirit. But at the same time, the Agile community is, I would say, still quite unique, because we have introduced a lot of content which is not available somewhere out there, and people are used to ask questions regarding Citrix, VMware, or even AVD in combination with IGEL, but also without. And that's something which hopefully brings the people to come back and ask questions regularly and interact with each other. And the second thing is, I would say the general mood, the general spirit that we have there. There is no one who will get harmed by asking a, so to say, dumb question. There are no dumb questions out there, but being treated with respect. And I would say this kind of mood is one thing that brings people to join and to keep the Agile community up and running. Rene, what do you think?
No, totally agree. And I think if you look on the EUC communities, this is something we are huge, I would say, with 12,000 and others like the new ones coming to us asking, hey, how did you do this? And asking for advice. So as I said, on one level, we're helping each other, we're discussing this. And if we look now with the DEXI program, they go into Discord, what I think it's very interesting. If you're looking to Omnissa, they're creating an old school forum. This is where I come from, basically, and I also really like that format. So it's really cool to see different approaches again, and in the end, it's good as long as we talk with each other, as we help each other. This is good within our community, within the huge EUC community, with the different communities popping out there. In the end, it's the idea of community, and as long as we're working together with everyone, this is fantastic.
Yeah, and I think it's worth mentioning that it really is a community for the community, by the community. And what I mean by that is, for a good example is after Seb and I recorded last week or the week before, whenever it was, him and I stayed on the line when the mics were off for another 15 or 20 minutes. And Seb, he had some questions for me. When normally I'm kind of doing the interviewing about, how we can improve the community, what we're doing right, what we're doing wrong. So it really is an open environment for feedback. And, some of the feedback I gave Seb, I'm not going to say it on mic, but it's already been implemented in the community. So it really is, if there's things we want to see, things we want to do, things we want to have happen within the community, we have the two guys on the line right here, Rene and Seb. Just DM them on the community, and there'll be an open, frank discussion. And Seb is pretty frank. He says, I can't do that, but I can do this, or I can do that today, but I may have to go to marketing. I may have to go to legal, blah blah blah. So it's worth having those conversations. But on that note, Rene, you mentioned the other communities that are launching on Discord. It seems to be the new hotness. Like the V experts are on Discord. Omnis is old school forum. Dexy is Discord. Is there any plans to move the IGEL community from Slack to Platform X? I see smiles. Maybe, did I hit a nerve?
No. I think Slack is really good, and we are benefiting from a lot of things, from the archives that we can make things searchable. I think you can do this probably also with the forum. Who knows? I would say 6 years or 6.5 years ago, Slack was a really, really good solution, and you saw so many communities also started with Slack, and now it's maybe time to look also in other fields. The thing is, you have so much knowledge already in the Slack channel. This is how do you make sure to bring it over? Because I think you don't have to underestimate this fact that there's a lot of knowledge already in. So I would not say. I don't know, Zeb. What do you think?
So what I can tell is that I already registered IGEL community in different ways on the Discord server. So this name is already reserved. So if someone tries to overtake me, it's already done. Now, I'm already playing with Discord in different roles and in different situations of my life since a couple of years now. And I really like the tool. It's not the same as Slack. I mean, Slack is not a typical community tool. Right? It's a collaboration tool as Teams would do also. We used it for the community, thanks to Douglas Browne to that time. And that's what opens a lot of possibilities: integrations, third-party plugins, analytics, and that's something that you can't replicate on Discord at the moment. That doesn't mean that we are not looking that direction, but let's say frank and honest. I mean, we're doing that on every podcast with you, Barry. We also have a cost topic, right? Because I mean, we all know that we are paying money for Slack, and we are paying, I would say, a huge amount of money for that tool, and it's just fair to be open to everyone to say, yes, we are investigating in different directions. That doesn't mean that we will do that on the short or midterm. It depends also on the discussion that we have with Slack. And fun fact, I had a call with them last morning regarding the cost and an additional topic. And don't forget one thing. And I would just put one keyword into the room: AI. So I don't want to get this topic started right now because we are maybe a little bit out of time, but AI is still and will be a huge topic in our end-user computing space. And it's also interesting to see how Discord and or Slack will handle this topic.
Right.
Spoiler alarm, Slack is already doing a lot in that direction, in a good way, I must say. Let's stay tuned for another podcast on this.
That's fair. And you're right, Seb, we were kind of running low on time, so I think we'll kind of wrap things up. So Rene, first off, I know you got a ton going on, and thanks for joining us. I know you have your own podcast, so this is your 60 seconds of fame. Why don't you plug your podcast, Behind the Hedgehog, and tell us a bit about it, and how people can find it, and generally what it is.
Absolutely. So it's another podcast about IGEL Community, I would say. My idea was, back in the days, I want to create a podcast getting the people known in the community. What is their career? How did community help them to create a career? And it's funny because I think I interviewed now 10 people or so, and always community was a key factor in their career to step up and be successful. And it's really interesting. And oftentimes I'm talking to people the first time, like I did with you a couple of months ago, and it's a really nice environment because sometimes you're seeing the 8 interview with one person in the podcast, and always the same questions. And I want to hear different stories. I don't want to hear about the latest products. Sure, we can talk about this, but I want to hear, okay, what is your story? What is your superpower, I would say. And this is something I'm doing there. And I hope you like it. So the feedback in general is really good from people. And I invite everyone to listen or into Behind the Hedgehog. It's really good.
And that's available on Spotify, iTunes, so
everywhere. Yeah,
just search for Beyond. Not, is it Behind the Hedgehog or Beyond the Hedgehog? Remind me.
Behind the Hedgehog.
Behind the Hedgehog on Spotify. Away we go. And with that, go search that in Spotify. Download it. Listen to episode 1 because I'm on that one. Probably the best episode out there, Rene. Yeah. Wink, wink. Yeah. Okay, gentlemen, we're at the bottom of the hour. I think we all have different directions we got to go in. So thank you for your time. And I look forward to do it again in probably a week, 10 days, 2 weeks, something around those time frames.
Let's do it.
All right, everybody. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Barry.